letter begins, "My dear son Ernest." I'd like you to see if you can guess who this bad boy is who receives it and who the mother is. "My dear son Ernest, for 3 years since you decided at the age of 18 years that you did not need any further guidance or advice from your parents, I've tried to keep silence and let you work out your own salvation, and by that I mean your own philosophy of life, your code of ethics in dealing with men, women, and children. Now at the age of 21 and being, according to some of your friends and well-wishers, so sadly in need of good guidance, I shall brave your anger and speak this once more to you. A mother's love seems to me like a bank. Each child that is born to her enters the world with a large and prosperous bank account, seemingly inexhaustible. For the first 5 years, he draws and draws. Mother's physical labor and pain, mother's loss of sleep, watching, soothing, waiting upon, bathing, dressing, amusing his every whim. There are no deposits in the bank account during all these early years. And oh well, mother thinks, someday he will be a comfort to me and return all that I am doing for him. And she is content. And then for the next 10 years or so, up to adolescence, while the bank is heavily drawn on, for love, for sympathy, championship in time of trouble or injustice, nursing through illnesses, teaching and guiding, developing the young body and mind and soul. The exhausted parents spare no expense. And by now, there are a few deposits and pennies in the way of services willingly done, some thoughtfulnesses, and some thank yous. Yet, truly this bank account is perilously low, for there's nothing more coming in, no deposits, unless occasional spells of regret for past conduct, which make him come to her with, "I'm sorry, Mom, and I will truly try to be better." But now adolescence is past. Full manhood is here. The bank is still paying out love, sympathy with wrongs, enthusiasm for all ventures, courtesies and entertainment of friends who have nothing in common with mother, who, unless they are well-bred, scarcely notice her existence. The bank goes on, handing out understanding and interest in budding love interests and joy in plans of every sort. The account needs some deposits by this time, some good-sized ones in the way of gratitude and appreciation, interest in mother's ideas and affairs. Little comforts provided for in the home, flowers, fruit, candy, or something pretty to wear, brought home to mother with a kiss and a squeeze. To praise her cooking, and a secret paying of the bills, just to get them off mother's mind, thoughtful remembrances and celebration of her birthday and Mother's Day. Yet what she treasures most of all is the handwritten letter. These are merely a few of the deposits which keep the account in good standing. Many mothers I know, she writes, are receiving these and much more substantial gifts and returns from sons of lesser abilities than my son. And this son truly was a very gifted, intelligent young man. Unless you, my son Ernest, come to yourself, stop your lazy loafing and pleasure-seeking, borrowing with no thought of returning. Stop trying to grift a living off anyone and everybody, spending your earnings lavishly and wastefully on luxuries for yourself. Stop trading on your handsome face to fool little gullible girls and neglecting your duties to God and your Savior, Jesus Christ. Unless, in other words, you come into your manhood, there is nothing before you but bankruptcy. You have overdrawn. You have overdrawn. This world, she writes, which is your world, in crying out for men, real men, with brawn and muscle, moral brawn and moral muscle as well as physical, men whose mothers can look up to them instead of hanging their heads in shame and having borne them. Purity of speech and life, she says, have been taught to you from earliest childhood. You are born of a race of gentlemen, men who would scorn to accept anything from anybody without rendering unjust equivalent, men who were clean-mouthed, chivalrous to all women, grateful and generous. You were named for two of the finest and noblest gentlemen I have ever known. Ernest Miller Hemingway. This is the boy. Ernest Miller Hemingway. He was born in 1899. Then she says this, see to it that you do not disgrace their memories. Do not come back until your tongue has learned not to insult and shame your mother. When you have changed your ideas and aims in life, you will find your mother waiting to welcome you, whether it be in this world or the next, loving you and longing for your love. The Lord watch between me and thee while we are absent from each other. Excuse me. And then she signs off. You're still hoping and praying mother, Grace Hall Hemingway. Now this bad boy was truly, really quite bad. He was making one bad decision after the other. Running away from home twice before he left at age 17 or 18. He was seeking pleasure. He was chasing gullible girls. He was hanging out with some of the worst people he could find. And then when he started writing, of course he was the gifted writer. He said he worked on books his parents would hate. This is what he wrote to his friends. He deliberately dishonored his parents. And then for a little money, a little bit later, he allowed himself to be recruited by the Soviet KGB to spy against his own country. His code name was Argo. In the KGB files, agents who were handling him complained that he was really lazy in his spying. He didn't give them good material. He left 3 of his wives, and he lived miserably, even though he was a gifted and celebrated writer. He was never happy. He was never happy. And when his mother died, as I said, he would not attend her funeral. He killed himself with a shotgun in 1961 on a beautiful summer day. And if you think there may be some lessons here for a mother or a son, please do share this with them. I'm Jeffrey Botkin.